Son, there's one kind of woman you must never let into your life. If you ignore this, you might lose everything. And I mean everything. I learned it the hard way. I'm giving you this warning, not just as your grandfather, but as a man who paid a price for not listening. In a world filled with voices, distractions, and temptations, sometimes the only voice that matters is the one you ignore the most, the one carrying generations of pain, wisdom, and survival. Today, I'm going to share with you a story so deep, so personal, and so powerful that it could shift the very foundation of how you see love, life, and loyalty. But before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more real-life soul-piercing stories, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop of wisdom that could save your future. Let's begin. My grandfather was a quiet man, but when he spoke, the entire room listened. He had this presence, like a man who'd stared into storms and come out alive. I was 19 when he first gave me the warning. We were sitting on the back porch, drinking tea as the sky turned amber. He looked at me with those time-worn eyes and said, "Beware the woman who only loves you when you're shining. She's not looking for your soul. She's hunting your spotlight." I was young and arrogant. I thought I knew women. I thought I knew life. I laughed it off, thinking his words were echoes from a different era. "You don't understand how things work now, Grandpa," I said. "Women today are independent, smart, and loyal." He didn't argue. He simply nodded. And before walking back inside, he left me with just one more line. "Then remember this. When everything falls apart, look at who's still standing beside you. That's your truth." 3 years later, I met her. Let's call her Isabella. She was electric, stunning in every possible way. Her smile could silence a room, and her energy felt like sunlight after winter. She made me feel invincible. The way she looked at me, like I was the center of her universe. At the time, I was climbing fast. My startup had just landed a major investor. My face was appearing in podcasts, local business magazines, and I was getting offers to speak at events. I was in my prime, and Isabella became my shadow, always by my side, always cheering me on. But something was off, and I ignored it. I noticed how she only seemed genuinely affectionate in public, how she never asked about my struggles, only my wins. I brushed it aside, thinking it was just her way, until the day the markets crashed and my startup crumbled in a matter of weeks. And that's when I saw her change. At first, it was subtle. The calls became shorter, the affection colder. She started spending more nights out, claiming she needed space. I tried to communicate, tried to explain how much pressure I was under, how much I needed her support. Her response? "I didn't sign up for this." That sentence cut deeper than any loss in my business. It was as if everything we'd built together was just a stage, and now that the lights were out, she was heading for the exit. When I asked her if she still believed in me, she laughed and said, "Believe in what? You don't even have a plan anymore." That night, she packed her things and left. No goodbye, no closure, just a note. "I hope you figure things out someday." And just like that, I was alone, stripped of success, stripped of love, and haunted by the memory of a man who tried to warn me. For months, I spiraled. Depression crept in. Friends faded. My name stopped trending. But one evening, while cleaning out my closet, I found an old cassette tape. It was my grandfather's voice, recorded during one of his final days. "Son, life is going to test you with two storms, one that takes away everything you have, and one that shows you who never belonged there in the first place. If she walks away when the money does, she was never yours. She was just renting space in your story. I broke down. I cried like a child. But the next morning, I got up and made a decision. I would rebuild, not for anyone else, but for the man I saw in the mirror. I started from scratch, learned new skills, hustled harder, smarter. And slowly, success began to trickle back into my life. But this time, I moved differently. I watched people's energy. I listened not just to what they said, but how they showed up when I had nothing to offer. And most importantly, I remembered his words. Years passed. One day, I got a message on LinkedIn. It was Isabella. She said she saw me on a Forbes list and wanted to catch up. She apologized, said she missed what we had, and wanted to grab coffee, just like old times. I didn't reply, because by then I had met someone new, someone who stayed by my side during my second fall, someone who didn't care about headlines. She cared about my heartbeat. A woman who brought soup when I had a fever and listened when I spoke in doubts, not just dreams. And that's when I understood. My grandfather was never warning me about a woman. He was teaching me how to see a person's heart. So to every young man out there, listen when the old speak. There's wisdom in their scars. Some women want the man, others want the moment. Learn the difference before you lose both. If you've ever been broken by love, deceived by charm, or left by someone who swore they'd stay, just know this. It wasn't a loss, it was a lesson. Like this video if it touched your soul. Comment below with the one lesson your elders gave you that changed everything. Subscribe if you believe in growing wiser through real stories. And make sure you hit that bell icon so you never miss a moment of transformation. Your future self is waiting. Just promise me one thing. When an old man tries to warn you, listen.